Welcome to Trading Lounge and the gold and silver report for the 7th of December, Monday. So I'm starting with silver today, and this has been the count that we've been looking at through here, and as a wave 4, as wave 3 here, and down to wave 4. You could label this, I mean, I always like to stick to the A, B, C's to keep things really simple, because Elliott is complicated enough, and the other thing too is that Practor also was the one that brought in the wave X as such. So, but still, this could be counted as a WXY, as has been pointed out to me. And that would be correct, but I have a different count for silver, which I think is more in line with the correct count, and I'm just going to go to that. I'll go to that in a minute, but either way, we believe that wave 4 is in play here, and we'll be looking for 5 waves to make a new high above wave 3 here. Once we get above wave 3 here, we'll be looking for wave 5 that normally comes in within group 1. So major level is the $30 here. It's just, this is a CFD here, so we can put in here as 100, if I can get that, 100, 200 and 300. So the market normally comes into that sort of space there, and then we'll see a correction at that point before moving further to the upside at that point, unless we have an extension in wave 5, but the normal thing is to have the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, then the ABC correction. So yeah, what we really want out of this is to trade this wave 3 up through here, the blue wave 3 here. But let's go in and have a look at this. First of all, I want to have a look at counting this in a different way, and then we're going to drill into this little section in here. But it's good to know the situation here. The other point here too is that 2 is a major level, 3 is a major level. This $2,525 area here is the medium level, and you can see that it plays a part because it's been the resistance. So when it becomes the support, that's going to be a fantastic opportunity to add to this market in that regard. So the other count that I have is, I think it's on this chart here. Okay, so let me just get it in here, because I think this is the correct count. We know that silver and gold, we know all markets are manipulated to a different point, but if you're trading longer term, it doesn't really matter that much. But I mean, these markets have been really pushed around, as you know, from Morgans and whatnot. So in this case here, wave 3 here with an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave here for the B wave, then down for 1, back for 2, nice strong third wave as you would expect. Because wave 2 was an A, B, C and simple, then wave 4 has been very complicated. So an A, B, C, D and E here for wave 4, and then 5 waves down here for wave 5. Not wave 4, not really overlapping wave 1 here in that case of the end here. Also too, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an A and a B and a C here. So 3 waves, an A and a B and a C here for this, an A and a B and a C here for this. This needs to be pulled apart, of course, and an A and a B and a C here for the D wave, so the E wave as wave 4, and leaving us with 5 waves to the downside. So I think that this is the actual correct count, and we'll be looking for 5 waves to the upside. Now, in this case, I've got, when I'm doing the gold, is that we've got green wave 1 here, but I think this is blue wave 1 and 2 here, and I think we're going to see a really strong third wave come into play here, and then a 4th wave and a 5th wave to take us up into group 1, which is 100, 200 and 300, or 10, 20 and 30, because this will be $30. As I mentioned, this is a CFD, so it's calculated a little bit differently, but yeah, there we go. So what we really need to do is to understand this little pattern here in silver and also in gold as well. And we need a strategy to be long. And if we are going to get a strong third wave here, we're not going to see this pull back to the full 61.8%. We may get another correction in here. So I'm not sure what charts I've done here. So I'll just, that's the hourly charts. I haven't done it on there. 15-minute chart. Okay, so 15-minute chart. So I've got two different counts for this. They kind of pan out the same a little bit. One of them is 1 and 2 here, and 3 here, and 4 here, and 5 here for this. And then the A wave here, and then basically an A, B, C here for the A wave, B wave, and then up for the C wave to make B. So an A wave, a B wave, and then 5 waves down here for the C wave here. So 1, A, B, C. Let's just have a look at this a bit closer. So down for 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, and coming down for wave 3, 4, and 5, coming down into roughly, look, it could come lower, but because it's, if this is correct, because it's become so high here, in fact it's an expanded flat, and we don't normally see an expanded flat in wave 2, and I know people throw tomatoes at me, but you know, we see it in leverage products, we see it in the FX market a lot, so I can't rule it out, but I do have another count of this for this, I think. So yeah, so down for this. So in both cases that I'm going to show today, we still need to see this move down here, right? But if I'm wrong, then we can go long at that point on that high here. That's where we need to go long, and we'll also be adding on top of this level here, and on this level, just say this goes up here, we'll be looking for a classic trading levels pattern sitting on here and going long from that point before we go higher at that stage. So if we do go down here, we're looking for 5 waves down. So just try and draw a, well, let me just get rid of that and copy that. Just try and get, once that wave 4's in play and wave 2 here, you can go long from that point after that, from that point, unless you can count 5 waves down here and 5 in the last structure, then you can go long. But a trend line on 2 and 4 would do the trick at that point. I'll just see if I did have that different counter I did in gold. This is 100 ticks. So from the low here, you're right. Okay, this is a different count. Still, yeah, I don't think this is the right one, but what I have done here is I have put a bit of time into this count here from the low here. There's 2 ways I can count, that's why I got 2 counts, as 1 here and 2 here. I mean, this is just for people that want to count, you know what I mean? Otherwise it's a bit boring, but 1 and 2 here, and then up for wave 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here for wave 1. That's how I've counted it. And I've counted it in blue wave here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up for 3 here, 4 here, and going up for 5 waves here. So between 2 and 3 here, we're looking at blue wave 1 and blue wave 2, and blue wave 3 here, and blue wave 4 and blue wave 5 for that lighter aqua blue there. And then from that we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, an extension in the 5th wave here for the 3rd wave. The other way to count this is that you may have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for that grayed out wave 1 here, and then that would make grey wave 2 here, which is just really the lighter blue one here. So you could count it that way, so that's why I've got a different count. That's why it's a little bit different in that regard. But let's not worry about this too much. We know, you know now that we're going to go long above that, well, that high, but you could also go long above this high here. So what you could do in this case is that we've got 400 here. So let's just put this, sorry, let's just put that like that. So really we want to go long on top of group 1. So this is subgroup 1 here. So the 30 here. So 24.30. And then you also want to, the next one is the midpoint here. And then you've got 8 here as well. 8's a profit-taking number, but you've also got group 2 in there. So they're just the Fibonacci numbers as a price ratio, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. But you've got group 2 here, 72 and 65 need to go in there. But the idea is to, because if we get a tested support on top of 3, then we can go long from that point. None of these have been support here, but trading above is not support. Once you've got your first high above the level, then you can use those. But anyway, see if you get a classic trading level pattern on top of 30. If that's the case, then you can go long from that point, and then by all means look to add on top here, and then we're going to be looking to add up here as well. You could probably squeeze another position in there depending on how you go with all of that. Okay, let's leave that. I'll just save that, but let's go, and I'll just take that back to the daily chart here. But yeah, actually just going back to this hourly chart here. When I've been doing charting for a long time. I was doing charting before computers came in. I was hand drawing charts. And we used to lay them out across the floor at a brokeraging service. And I remember the guys down at the local, at one of the banks trading in Perth. It was about, the chart that we used to lay out, about 15 foot long. And we just kept adding to it. But anyway, so what I was trying to say is that I see a lot of patterns get skewed, So it's even though that I believe this pattern, I feel very comfortable with this pattern. And I know markets get skewed at large numbers because large orders come in at large numbers. And then when you've got people manipulating the situation, then they get skewed even more. So we can't really transfer this count to the gold market, even though it's sort of roughly the same. It's because this wave here came up really too high here for all that. But I know in my own little heart and soul, that's the way that I would be looking at it. But I know that all the Elliott people out there would be bagging me. But I'm too old and crusty to worry too much about that. But I would take this count and put it onto gold. I haven't done, but I should and would. But what I will take away from this is that means that this low is in. I feel comfortable with that low being in place here. We also really need to be mindful that wave fourth can get complicated. So this move up here really could be an ABC pattern up through to here. So we'll look at gold, and then we have another C wave to the downside here. That's also possible as well with all of this. We need to work through that, but we're going to play going long through all of this, and we will be able to work out, because if it's an ABC, then this will be this length here, this A wave here, and the C wave here will be roughly the same. And if that is the case, then we'll also see this C wave here on more of an angle like that. But if it's a wave 3, we're going to see it like pretty perky and chirpy to the upside, quite strong. So we'll look at that, and we'll also look at gold stocks. We should be able to figure it out in real time, so we should be okay. Right, gold. Pete, get back on the case, dude. Okay, where are we? Here's gold. So the correct count would be looking at this as a WXY, and all the Elliott people would be happy about that. But yeah, anyway, the main point is that we have an impulse wave here, so we'll be going up, and we're looking for a little pullback in this case just here. So in this case here, if I used wave 1 here, this would just take me too high here, because I would need to get 1, 2 here. Third wave would need to be longer, and then wave 5 here would be something like that. So if I put wave 1, this blue wave 1 here and blue wave 2 here, that means I've got to put that to there, and then I'll be way above this up here somewhere. I'd be up at 2,500, which is also possible. Based on having such a large correction here, which is also the accumulation process within all of this. So I did there was a video out that some gentleman did, and they were buying some of this market's still being manipulated because there was a lot of shadow contracts, not futures, well, kind of futures contracts, but shadow contracts are just contracts that they make up out of thin air to buy into this market. So there's a lot of manipulation going into this, but it doesn't really concern us small fish. The big fish have got to go eat each other, and each fish is can only do a slightly smaller one. So those bigger fish will chase each other around the planet, when they see those large orders go into bond market in Japan or something, they know they've got to come out of it at some point, and so on and so on. So different sized fish are chasing different fish, so it doesn't really concern us that much. But yeah, the shadow contracts that have come into play were an interesting thing in terms of pushing the price down and the same people buying them. So anyway, so that will take wave 1 here and 2. So I'm thinking that we'll have to play with this a little bit, but I'm thinking that we've got wave 1 here like we have in silver, and then we can look for an extended third wave. Let's copy that. Because third wave's normally coming to the top of the previous wave here, and then that would make wave 4 and wave 5. So this is just a little bit something that we need to work out a little bit. Not that it's going to bother us too much, but it's good to be aware of it, and we need to work through it. So based on that, we'll cruise in here and have a look. So yeah, in a nutshell, we're looking at this as wave 1, and we're looking for wave 2, much the same as we were last week. And we know that every trend's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, and this is the beginning here, and the middle is quite strong, and the end here, we're starting to the end of the structure, you start to see the markets creep a little bit. They start sort of overlapping each other, So this overlaps this one overlaps. They start creeping, that's kind of towards the end there, and you can see them rolling over like an old man. So we should see, like silver, see a move down and then move up in that case. Like I said, this is probably the blue wave 1 here in that regard. So we'll just work with that as well. We'll just, play out both of them. So let's just, I'm not sure what I've updated here, but we'll have a look. Okay, so this is what I think here. Different count, but 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and then going up for wave 5 here. And in wave 5, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, just struggling to the top. So the A waves are normally sharp, so we've seen that sharp move down, and then we're going to see this one move down. I don't think we're going to be coming back to the 61.8%. I think this story's already told itself here. So, but we need to put it in, and we need to be mindful of it at that point. So that's where it can come to, but it may just poke down into group 1. So probably 1815 would be a nice number, I reckon. It wouldn't go much further than that, but we'll see. I can easily be wrong on that one. But what the takeaway from this point is that we need to be long above that high. Okay, and then we also look to add into group 2 here, and then we can also copy that. Okay, put that there and copy that. So that's on the 72 there. You could probably even get that on the 65 or even on the 60. Yeah, I think I will bring it down a bit. I'll put it on the 65. So as soon as group 2 becomes the support, you see a little tiny classic trading levels in there at 1865. You can go on that. Because at 65 it could fail at that point, but not fail by much. It'll just be part of a correction moving up. So yeah, and also too, let's just assume for a moment that that is a little B wave there. Okay, so what we also want to do at that point, let's just so that B wave here, wherever that is, we really want to be long from that point, that going across that top of that B wave. If it just drops straight from here, then use that one. But basically once it comes down, that second high here, wherever that may be, you can go long from that point there as well. And I'll try, as I mentioned before, I was going to put a video out when it had pulled back properly, and it hasn't pulled back properly, but it's just sort of, creeping. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's what we're looking for. So pretty much buy new highs. If it drops, then just keep buying new highs wherever they are. Let's just cruise in a bit further. I don't know what I've done on the 15 and the tick chart. Nothing on the 15, so I've probably done something on the tick chart. Okay. Well, this is how I've counted it in this case. So yeah, take a look at that and do what you will with it. And if that's correct, then as I mentioned, the 1800, the 61.50, 60% retracement level, and may be like that. We may have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, and then an A, B, C back up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, that's possible. We may have that. We may have. I can't draw on that side, but you know what I'm doing there. So otherwise, an A and a B and a C, and if that's the case, then we can drop that down to the B wave here. I can't add some things on this side of the price. I can add labels on this side of the price for this charting program, but that's about it. So that B wave, once that's in place there, yeah. And what you'll need to work out, and hopefully I'll do another video on that, is that we just got to work out if this is not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming down, then an A, B, C back up, and then another one, back as a larger A, B, and C here. I mean, we could just do that on the 15-minute chart while we're here. So we know that's the 50% retracement level. I mean, it looks a bit complicated for a wave 2. It's more like a B wave, but still 3, 4, 5 down here, and then an A, B, and C wave coming in here, hitting supply somewhere in amongst all of that, and then another 5 waves coming down like that, hitting the 61.8% down there somewhere, and then building back up from that point. So what we have to work out is that, do we get 5 waves down here, or do we just get 3, So if we just get 3 here, that would be nice, because then we can just go up from that point, and then you will be long here at that point. I mean, that may go up there a bit further, and if it keeps going straight up there, well, then we need to be long above here. You know that, don't you? So we're just trying to understand the wave count and then deploy strategy within all of this. And if we do see 5 waves down here, well, then we need to rework the structure from down this end through here. And of course, if you can't do that, you can just put a line straight through there. That helps. And if you into this leg here, you can also do the same here as well to cut in sharper at that point, or wave 5 waves up here, little classic trading level pattern on top of the 18 and go along from that point, or the second high within that space. So many roads to Rome. It just sometimes depends on what you can see and what you can't see. Sometimes parts of it are clear and other parts are not clear, so you just got to find the best fit with the most confidence in that space. Alrighty, I've dribbled on long enough, so thanks for tuning in. Cheers.